Welcome back to the Movie Day Podcast, the one and only podcast that reviews a different film each and every day. My name is Grant, and I'm your host for this podcast. With me, as always, to dive into the world of cinema, we have Sky.
Hello.
And Ryan.
Back at it again.
Back at it, indeed. Ryan, what are we talking about for this episode?
We are talking about We Need to Talk About Kevin. It's a movie directed by Lynn Ramsey. Stars Tilda Swinton, only once. John C. Reilly. And it's a movie that is free on Amazon and Hulu. I give you that double feature, so you can watch it twice on two different services because it's a pretty good movie. It's about a son named Kevin whose mother is struggling to connect with him, and I guess it really more or less follows like Kevin and the mother like most of the movie, because Kevin is the devil's child and the mother is trying to connect with Kevin, and he's just this estranged kid, and it's like really hard for the mother because she wants to love him, but Kevin refuses to allow that.
And just to be clear, he's not actually the devil's child. He's just
that was just a reference. He's just a really...
This isn't a supernatural...
Yeah, no, this is not. This is just a really messed up kid.
Yeah, you're not going to want to go into this thinking it's a horror movie.
No, it is not. It is not. But what are your guys' initial thoughts on We Need to Talk About Kevin?
Yeah, so as you said, Tilda Swinton and John C. Reilly are the parents, and the Flash himself, Ezra Miller, plays Kevin. And Tilda Swinton and John C. Reilly, I guess all the performances really were great. That's like the one thing this movie really, really had going for it. Other than that, I kind of just thought it was like really mediocre to like not very good. I don't. It's really hard to explain like what doesn't work about this movie until we get into spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. These two Lynn Ramsey movies haven't been doing it for me so far. Well, we'll see. Honestly, I don't think I would recommend watching this movie. I don't want to get too much into it until we get into spoilers. But Sky, what do you think?
All right. So, everyone knows, and by everyone, I mean our 10 subscribers, know that I am a huge fan of You Were Never Really Here. So, I was really excited to see like a movie that she made first. And this one definitely didn't do it as much as that, for sure. I do have problems with this movie. I would agree the acting's all very well. And to me, there's like one key aspect about the movie that like you either buy in or you don't. And if you don't, then this movie, I guess, isn't gonna work for you, which we'll get into that in the spoilers. I'm also conflicted. I would recommend it just because I think there is some artistic value to it, but it's definitely not a movie I guess I'm going to revisit a ton. Yeah, I guess I'll check it out probably at least one more time to see if I get more out. But yeah, I guess I don't want to get into the spoiler stuff yet. So all the acting's good. I would recommend it just because it is like a different type of movie. But Ryan, what did you think?
I thought it was fine. I thought it was, I mean, like, yeah, I see like the artistic value in it and everything like that. I mean, there's some main issues that I have with it, which I'll get into later. But like, for the most part, like the acting is pretty good. It just really makes you like. I think that like the main purpose of this was to like make you try to side with the mother, but then like like at times, like you can't really side with the mother. This is really like a tough one because I'm kind of like teetering on like what I wanna say is good and like what I don't, because like, you know, it has its good moments and it has its bad moments. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a dark movie in a way because like, you know, like something like really bad is gonna happen and just the way the kid is, and like something's going on in his mind that can't be like stopped. And I just didn't know, like, you know, I guess I should say like I kind of knew what the ending was going to be through the pretty much most of the movie, so that kind of killed it for me as well. But yeah, I guess we'll talk more about that in spoiler talk. So if you guys don't have any more initial thoughts, I'm gonna open it up.
Let's open it up.
Okay, we're gonna open it up because we need to talk about Kevin.
We need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah,
I guess the ending, I agree with what you were. You definitely know where the movie's gonna go once you know what it's about. Like, you know how it's gonna end essentially. But I don't think it's like the movie is about what happened and I guess how it affected like Tilda Swinton's life and then what led up to that, I guess, is the main point of the movie. But yeah, I know what you mean. If you like know how a movie's gonna end, it does kind of loosen.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It just
how much
doesn't.
you care, I guess. Yeah.
That
I
isn't
just-
even really what bothered me. Like,
No,
knowing
that's not the
about it.
main thing that bothered me. Yeah.
But like, it's
For
how
sure.
they got there. Like the Kevin himself is just like a caricature. He's just like so cartoonishly evil and conniving
Mm-hmm.
that it's just like laughable.
Yeah, and that's where, like I was saying at the beginning, like you either buy in that like essentially a kid could be born, like regardless of how good your parents are. Again, I wish they would I don't know, like I guess my biggest complaint is I don't know what they were or what she was going for, I guess, with Tilda Swinton's character. Because I don't know, was she trying to say that she was kind of a bad mom and that contributed to this, or was she like just trying to be a good mom and it didn't matter, this kid just turned out evil or
I
psychotic?
mean, that's what I got out of it. Cause like even when
Because
that kid
she
was a
snapped
baby,
at him a lot and stuff, and granted, like, he deserved it, but like to me it was kind of like the dynamic of her and John C. Reilly, right? Like John C. Reilly was the yes dad and she was like the no mom.
yeah. Well, I mean, even when that kid was born, like as a baby, like she would just cry nonstop whenever Tilda Swinton was like holding her or around her, and then whenever John C. Reilly was like, is quiet as a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was literally from day one.
Yeah, and
That
again, that
kid
could
was,
just
like-
be. Well, I mean that happens. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's some times where, like, you know, a kid, the baby reacts differently to different people. I don't think that's like. I guess there is some comical, like you're right, over the top stuff that the kid does. But like to me, that maybe just sets the tone of like she feels distant from him. Like they don't connect just as like a mother and son should. And then like she's trying to play catch up with him, and yeah, I mean, that part didn't bother me. The stuff as he gets like in his like he's like
Yeah, when
8.
he's in his toddler phase, that
Yeah,
drove
that's
me
the part
nuts.
where I'm like, I don't fully buy.
Yeah,
in.
like there's no way that a toddler at that age is gonna hate your mother that much. Like there's just
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
just
it
don't see
could
it where,
happen,
like,
it could
It
happen,
could,
but like
but
not
they
like
didn't
that.
do it.
yeah, but
Like
like,
the
to
way
the
he was
extent
doing it.
that it does.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
where it's like, I feel like again, the movie did have her. You know, she took him to therapy, but I feel like you would take him to therapy. I feel like he should have been in therapy the whole movie, right? Like, and then it would have been like, okay, she really tried with that, or like the parents did. But again, then you have John C. Reilly's character with like, there's nothing wrong with him, and then like he kind of plays both sides. But I don't know how John C. Reilly was so oblivious. That's the part where I'm like, how
Yeah, he was really
do you
oblivious.
guys not? Yeah, like
Yeah, like the fact that this like little kid was able to like play his parents the way he did is just like so ridiculous.
And how
Yeah.
how do you like as a husband, how do you not listen to your wife like when she's like pleading to you that something is wrong? Like she
That's what-
she wouldn't just make that shit up. Like she'd be like, he seriously like hates me, and he's like, no, it's fine. It's just a phase.
Yeah. And I mean, I get like, parents don't want to like see the faults in their kids. Like I could definitely, but again, like they didn't do it the most effective way, I guess. Like it's a cool idea for a movie for sure. Cause I think the point of the movie, right, is that like we see, unfortunately, right, like all these like school shootings and stuff, which I guess, spoiler alert, that's what this movie's about. Kid is a school shooter.
With a bow and arrow.
Yeah, with a bow and arrow. But I think they're trying to say, like, obviously, like, they're trying to do an extreme of it, like, where, like, everyone usually blames the parents, right, in those situations, because the guy usually kills himself, right? And so they're like, if he had better parents, they taught him right, like, he wouldn't have done stuff. And I think this movie, the director's trying to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't blame the parents, which, again, like, I don't fully agree with. It's an interesting idea, but I think that's kind of or maybe like there is a little blame there, but also like you shouldn't ruin like, their entire lives because of this.
Yeah, and like, well, I wouldn't condone people, like I wouldn't want people to blame the parents. Like I could definitely see them blaming the mom for that, but then you find out that the kid also killed her husband and her daughter.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you go to like that length of like blame when like she lost two people?
Well, I think it's oblivious, right? Like everyone's like, you were so oblivious, when she wasn't. She was like going crazy by essentially being like, guys, no one believes me. You know what I mean? And then like it all blew up because no one believed her, and then she gets blamed for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the final scene, like the quote unquote school shooting scene, happened, and like I mean, obviously you didn't get to see any of it really. You just kind of got to see the aftermath, but like, so like throughout the entire movie, like John C. Reilly's teaching Kevin how to shoot a bow or whatever, and like he's like really into like shooting a bow and arrow in the backyard at a target, and like that's like his thing. So when he kills the dad and when he kills the daughter, like it's like he kills him with a bow, and then like he goes to his school and he like shoots people with arrows, and it's just like, just use a gun, man. Like, can't you just get your hands on a gun? Like, it'd be so much, I don't know, like I just,
yeah, it lost
it's
a
just
little
weird to me
credibility.
because like shooting people with a bow and arrow, that's a little weird. Like, I'm not saying that shooting people with a gun's like more normal. I mean, I kind of am, but it's just like the last
I know
thing
what
I'm
you
gonna
mean.
do is be like, yeah, I'm gonna bring a bunch of arrows to school. No, just
Well, it loses its credit, or its realistic.
It's not as badass, I guess. And not saying that school shootings are badass. But again, like this is something I can't talk about without sounding.
Well,
like,
no, I
I'm
think
gonna
what you're trying to say is like
enforce it.
it
I'm not
loses the
enforcing it. I'm
realism
just
of,
saying,
like-
like, yeah, it's not realistic at all. And it's
like a
just,
kid
like,
with a bow.
yeah,
I mean, he's a skinny guy.
yeah, because like, I mean, like obviously,
You
like
could
throughout the
rush a
entire
guy with a
movie,
bow.
throughout the entire movie, I knew he was gonna do something at the school. I'm like, he's gonna definitely shoot up the school or something, just because of like the way he's been acting. But I didn't think he was gonna do it with a bow. Like I was like, I was thinking to myself, okay, he's using the bow and arrow as like target practice, but like while he's using the bow as kind of like a scapegoat, so his parents think, oh, he's just shooting a bow in the backyard, when really he's practicing for another weapon. But I didn't know he was gonna actually take it to school and use it, and I'm like, holy cow, like this is not what I was expecting. I was expecting him to use an actual gun or an assault rifle and just mow people down in the freaking hallways or something. But like, I don't know, like we never got to see what happened in the school, and we obviously know that he used a bow and arrow because we kind of seen one scene where he walked into the gymnasium, I think it was, or was it the auditorium, or I think it was the gymnasium.
Yeah,
And he like
Jim.
brings the bag of arrows in there in the bow, and then afterwards you see like arrows like stuck in people, and like the arrows were like stuck in his dad, and it's just weird. It's like he almost like hunted them like wildlife, which is creepy to think about. But
Again, I think it makes him more like psychopath to use the bow, which
Yeah.
again, but the movie I feel like should have went more realistic to like the everyday what actual school shootings are.
Right.
And I guess my problem with that scene is the whole he buys these bike locks, and I don't know how
he bought a
he did,
bunch
like,
of
how
bike
it-
locks.
yeah, I don't know how he was like locking them all around the school, and so I'm like, okay, but then are like people only entering the school from one side, and are they only entering the gym from one side? And then like, did he go over there and put a bike lock on that? Like once everyone got in the gym, like what? How did he do all this?
Typically students enter from one door, but like teachers can enter from any door. Like really, like the janitors, they got keys all around the building. Like and like he was locking the doors. I thought he was locking the doors before the assembly or the gathering even happened. So like wouldn't somebody notice like, there's a bike lock on this door. That ain't normal. The janitor would never do this. This isn't normal.
Yeah, it was all.
There's a lot of red flags. Like
Very confusing.
Well, it's just like was he like sitting there? It would have been one thing if he was like up in like a perch or something shooting down at him, like where like because like he was literally standing on like the main.
yeah, and then
like,
could you imagine him
front of everyone,
sitting up there
like-
in like a tree stand with a bow, like just knocking a kid out at a time? Like, I mean, you wouldn't be able to hear it really, so that'd be kind of creepy. But I feel like just using a rifle, again, not enforcing it, but just saying using a rifle would be more effective. You'd be able to get more kills. I'm just saying. It's seriously
Yeah.
though, like
It's just like it loses the realistic part for sure with the bow, but it makes
Yeah.
I will say it makes him more like of a psychopath to use.
it does, but like he could have done it. You could have still made him more of a psychopath in a different way.
Yeah, well, I think the movie was kind of conflicted and like it wanted to be like this real thing of like this happens and like this is how it impacts like the mother of a kid, right? And
Right.
like everyone in society or whatever. But then like it does try to put this like innate evil into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't fully work,
yeah. I don't know,
but it was
man.
an interesting concept.
The ending just completely fell apart. Like the movie fell apart right at the end for me. That's when I lost it. I was like, nope.
Well, yeah, I guess we should talk about the ending because at the end he starts crying. Kevin, right? He just starts crying and he's like,
Yeah, when
I don't
he's
know
in
what
the
I'm
prison,
gonna do.
right?
Yeah, like he's actually like at first when she visits him in prison after all this has happened, he's like smiling. Like
Yeah.
there's that creepy scene of him like chewing his nails and like putting his nails like in order on the table, and then they have the parallel shot of her like with all the like eggshells in her food that she's like picking out and putting in order. Like I like some scenes like that. But yeah, I don't know what changed. Like nothing else happened to him in prison, right? Or maybe he got in a fight. Did he get in a fight? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But, like, he didn't have, like, a-
Maybe? He might have got bruised. I don't know.
I just
Seems
can't
something
remember,
would
like-
happen, but
Yeah, like a big stimulus that would like cause him to like finally be like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm gonna. Like that's kind of like the movie needed like a cathartic ending, right? Where it's like, oh, like he got what he deserved, like because obviously if you don't care, like the guy wouldn't care, and like there would be no like
yeah.
I guess just desserts, but he does, and so you're like, oh, like good, he did a bad thing, and like good, he's paying the now he actually like is gonna be like scared and all this stuff, and like to me like it didn't earn that, I guess.
Yeah, definitely a movie that they didn't end well. The kid, what do you guys think of the kid actor? I thought he was just like I said,
Yeah.
the devil's child. Like he's literally the devil's child.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not really hard to play a little shit.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
to
I
me
know.
like you said, Grant, like looking definitely was cartoony for sure. Even his facial expressions were
Mhm.
kind of over the
Yeah.
top.
Ezra Miller did a good job, though.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he was creepy. He was creepy.
The one scene I really, really liked was the
beginning?
very first scene
Yep, the tomato.
where, like, it's a bunch of people doing stuff with tomatoes. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a thing, apparently.
Tomato fights.
Well, I think you step on tomatoes. It's like this big tomato festival. I think it's in Spain. I can't remember what it's called. I remember reading about it a while ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
think they just
definitely
go
definitely
crazy.
with like how I don't know, like she feels like the blood is on her hands and like
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's like covered in like the tomato juice. Yeah. I was really excited for the movie after watching that scene because I knew like where it was going even before that. Like just with the plot synopsis, like okay, it's just gonna be build up, build up to this, and like with a first scene like that to set it up, I was like, wow, this is gonna be great. And then the movie happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some stuff I like,
Yeah, there were some scenes I
But-
liked.
but yeah, I know what you mean in the sense of like, it definitely got a little too cartoony for me. For like this serious of a, I like a serious story like this. I wish they would have went like full realistic, and like I feel like I would been like, oh dang, like I can like relate to it more
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of like, you see all these school shootings, and like this, I feel like should have went for that realism and like make it like actually like I guess more connected to all the stuff we see in the news, because then it would create more of like a sense of like, oh my god, like I don't know what what I mean. Like, do you blame the mom? Like, I mean, whereas like this
Seemed like
doesn't
everybody in
feel
that
real.
movie blamed the mom. Like,
Yeah, which is what I think
they
most
shunned
people
her,
would do.
basically.
Yeah, you want to blame someone, right?
Yeah.
And like,
One other thing I want to touch on real quick is the movie's choice to show things in not a chronological order. And it's kind of just jumping around all over the place.
yeah, there's 3 timelines, right? There's
Mhm.
the before, the current. Actually, I guess there's 2 past ones, and then the current one, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
that didn't really work for me either. It's just, I didn't really see a reason for it to be all over the place.
They could have just kept it past and present.
If they just would have ran through the movie chronologically, with like just that tomato scene being the first scene, and then you go through the movie.
I mean, I don't know. I definitely don't want 2 different like past ones, but like if it just went in order and then it happened, I don't know if I don't know.
I don't feel like it would be any worse.
I don't think it'd be any better though. I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of like how it would go back. I mean, my favorite parts of the movie were seeing how she was like ostracized from society, and it was like interesting to see how everyone reacts with her. Like those were the scenes I really liked, and I
See,
thought her
that would have
performance was
been-
really good.
That would have been something I really liked too, but I just like can't get behind that she would be ostracized as much as she is when her husband and daughter died.
See,
as
I
well.
think that to me, I agree slightly, but at the same time, people will want to blame someone.
Yeah,
That is
they'll
how it always works.
Yeah,
So
they'll
she will
blame
get
her for
blamed.
sure, but they're not going to go out and be like, "Oh, would
I
do
think they
whatever
would.
they would do."
I think the
Not in
mom
that
in society is like the one who is like, charged with raising the kids more, right? Like she's the one who's like responsible for making, children come into good adults usually. In all the movies and all society, you see like the dad's away at work and the mom's staying home doing this. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so it's like,
like they definitely blame her, but they would not go that far with it when she loses.
I mean, like the mothers of the kids that he killed following her, I think they would follow the mom. I think they'd be like, how did you not know this kid was going to kill our kids and also your own family? Like, are you that stupid? Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
could totally see people reacting that way. So that doesn't bother me as much. I mean, I get what you're saying with like, have one character who was like, who cared about her because that one guy in the wheelchair who even got shot said like, how are you doing? So like some people do recognize that she also went through stuff and she is a victim, but I do think people would dramatically overreact and try to blame her and follow her around. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
that's about it for me. I don't know if you guys have anything else.
I think I covered what I needed. Trying to think of It's the middle of the movie. Nothing crazy really happens.
So should we give it our ratings then?
Sky?
Yeah, I guess I can't. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I thought there was one other thing I was gonna say, but yeah, I guess I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I say, should I start? Should I give it?
Go for it.
So right now I'm between a 6 and a 7, and I think it's tough. I definitely want to watch it again at some point.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is really tough. I think I'm gonna go 6 right now, but like could go up to a 7. Yeah, I mean, again, I think watching it again, I'll honestly get watching this movie twice. I feel like I'll know if like the kid bothers me to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't want to see this again, or if like I'll get something else out of it. It probably will stay a 6. I don't know. I'm gonna say 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm also at a 6. I'm kind of the same way. I kind of need to see it a second time. A lot of issues that need to be addressed. So probably a second watch through might address them. And yeah, I just kind of got to see like how I feel about Kevin as a character.
So after watching it the first time, I think I had it at a 6, but like the more, like even right afterwards, I would be thinking about it like, well, that's dumb. That's really dumb. And then like even just thinking about it more today, it's like, I don't know. It probably would have been a 5 like after like that first night of thinking about it after I watched it, but right now I have it at a 3.
Okay.
Like this movie really did not work for me the more I think about it.
Yeah, and like I said, it kind of goes if you buy in the little piece of crap. But
piece of crap.
Yeah. So, yeah, movie's definitely not for everybody, and it is a dark movie for sure. So,
it's dark, yeah.
But yeah, I would still say for me, I would recommend checking it out if you're into like a darker drama, thriller. I guess you'd call it a thriller. Yeah.
I don't know what it says drama mystery thriller under IMDb. There's no mystery, so they can just get rid of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone
I guess
knows where this movie's going after the first like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it did take me a little bit. I knew nothing about this movie, but like once, like it gets pretty easy to know once you see him in prison, which happens probably in like the first 30 minutes. But
honestly, thriller is pretty debatable as well, but I guess that's just me.
Yeah, no, I'd say it's more of a drama.
I would just say it is a drama, and that's it. That's probably the only genre.
Well, they always put like 3 genres.
Yeah,
I feel
well,
like,
not always. Not always.
So I think it's on me now for recommending. And I'm going to go with a movie. I think it's on Hulu, right? You guys remember?
What movie?
Well, yeah, I guess I'll tell you what the movie is. The movie is Ingrid Goes West.
Yes, it's on Hulu.
It is on Hulu, yep.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this one again.
Yeah.
This will be my first time.
No, Aubrey Plaza's in it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, she's always great.
I agree with that.
That cringe humor.
Yeah.
He's got the crazy eyes.
Yeah, that too.
Jesus. So yeah, if you guys like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well as leave a like and a comment. We would love to hear your thoughts, suggestions, and recommendations. To keep up with updates and other news regarding this podcast, follow our Twitter and like our Facebook page listed in the description below. You guys want to say anything else?
Nah, I think think that's it.
Nope, I'm good.
All right. See you tomorrow.